When you hear the words Underground Railroad, you probably picture secret paths, safe houses, and brave conductors guiding enslaved people north to freedom. But what if I told you there was another, equally daring route to liberation, one that didn't lead north, but south, across hundreds of miles of open ocean? This is the incredible, often overlooked story of the Saltwater Railroad. Between 1821 and 1861, thousands of enslaved people in the American South, particularly in South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, looked not to the North Star, but to the sea. Their destination, the Bahamas. In 1834, the British Empire abolished slavery in its colonies, making islands like Nassau a beacon of hope, a mere 400 to 600 miles away, for enslaved people forced to work on docks, ships, and plantations along the coast. This wasn't just a distant dream, it was a tangible possibility. These weren't just passengers on a secret network. Many were skilled mariners themselves. They were the pilots, the sailors, the fishermen who knew the treacherous currents and coastlines like the back of their hands. They used their knowledge, their courage, and their desperation to seize their own freedom. They would hijack sloops, schooners, and even small pilot boats, often under the cover of darkness, and set sail into the vast, unpredictable Atlantic. Imagine the sheer audacity. This wasn't a quiet journey through the woods. This was a high-stakes gamble against the elements, against slave patrols and fast-pursuit boats, and against the immense psychological weight of leaving everything behind for an uncertain future. They faced storms, starvation, and the constant fear of being captured and returned to a fate worse than before. Yet, for thousands, the promise of freedom was worth any risk. Their stories are breathtaking. In 1849, a group of enslaved people near Savannah, Georgia, meticulously planned their escape. They stole a pilot boat named the John B. Lamar, navigated it out of the heavily patrolled harbor, and sailed straight for the Bahamas. Miraculously, they made it. When they arrived in Nassau, they weren't treated as fugitives. They were greeted by the local Bahamian community, many of whom were formerly enslaved themselves or their descendants, as free men and women. They were celebrated as survivors. One of the most powerful examples of this exodus occurred in 1858. A group of 36 men, women, and children made their daring escape and arrived in Nassau on Christmas Day. Their arrival wasn't just a personal victory. It became a symbol of collective liberation for the island. The community rallied around them, offering food, shelter, and support. This event was so significant that it is still commemorated in parts of the Bahamas today as Black Christmas, a celebration of freedom and resilience. These weren't isolated incidents. Historians have uncovered records of dozens of such voyages, involving hundreds, likely thousands, of people over for decades. Each successful journey inspired others. News would travel back to the plantations through the maritime grapevine, whispered among dockworkers and sailors, fueling the hope that freedom was within reach. The Saltwater Railroad fundamentally challenges our understanding of resistance to slavery. It shows that the fight for freedom was as diverse and dynamic as the people who waged it. They weren't passive victims waiting to be rescued. They were active agents of their own liberation, using their skills, intellect, and unbreakable will to chart their own course to freedom. So next time you think of the journey to freedom in America, remember to look south, to the turquoise waters of the Atlantic. Remember the brave sailors who navigated by the stars, the families who huddled together in stolen boats, and the Bahamian communities that welcomed them with open arms. They are all heroes of the Saltwater Railroad, a testament to the unquenchable human spirit. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as powerful as I did, please give this video a like, subscribe for more hidden histories, and share this incredible chapter of the American story. See you next time.